Are you tired of the lies coming out of the Fed, the government, the press, and Wall Street regarding the housing, mortgage, and financial implosion going across the world right now? I am tired of it. I am tired of seeing the financial markets in ruin, reacting on speculation, hype, and lies. If I'm not part of the solution, I'm part of the problem. I've been in the mortgage industry for 20 years. I've been an avid investor for 20 years. My name is Mr. Mortgage, and I'm here to help you. I want to go over Lehman today because Lehman is at the top of the hype pile now that Bear Stearns is gone. We want to review what could be on their level 3 books given what the kinds of loans they used to do through Aurora Loan Services. Lehman was the biggest and baddest all-day mortgage player in the world for years. Their all-day loans are closer to subprime, which you'll see. But maybe this is what's sitting on their level 3 books. They have $87 billion worth of loans on their level 3 books. They've only told us about $14.6 billion worth of residential loans, of which $13.6 billion are likely all-day, $1 billion in prime. So they could be having some real problems. They just had to raise $4 billion in cash. Why? Why couldn't they take loans down to the new Fed auction window and get 2.5% rates for them? What was the need to go through and raise money, which will ultimately be dilutive, when everyone's looking at their company at a microscope anyway? It doesn't make any sense. Merrill just said today they didn't have to raise any money. Why did Lehman have to raise money? None of it makes any sense. But we're going to look. We're going to make our own decisions. I'm not going to pass off anything as hype or anything as lies because I don't want the SEC looking at me and thinking I'm some short seller trying to affect the markets. I mean, it's kind of funny how short sellers are back in the spotlight right now when a year ago Patrick Byrne was almost crucified because he blamed his stock going down on short sellers. And now, of course, when it's a financial institution, that must be what's happening. It's not the quality of the company or the quality of their earnings. Of course, it's the short sellers. Take a look at Portfolio.com, a story called Lehman's Debt Shuffle by Brad Hintz from Bernstein Research. He goes over and talks about the $600 million gain from a widening of Lehman's own debt spreads, which is more than the total amount of money they made in the quarter anyway. They changed the way they measure their tangible equity. Their marks were unbelievably slim on commercial mortgages and residential at 2.8 to 3%. Their big alt-A hedge is mortgage servicing rights. You can't collect that stuff, and it's not cash, and you can't mark it up, which they did. Their leverage went up 32%, or 31.7%, their gross leverage, but of course they only want to talk about net leverage. So there's some real speculation here. I mean, Bear just went down. If Lehman didn't come out and make money that week after Bear went down, they would have likely had the same fate as Bear did. So they had to lie. But you as an investor need to know this. You also as an investor need to know what's really sitting on their books. And we'll never find out. They'll never really tell us what's on those level 3 books. No one has yet. Why should they? But I think we can make some educated guesses by what I have right here. This is Aurora Loan Services, a Lehman Brothers company. These are all the loans they did. Now what happens is lenders tend to portfolio their most popular loans, the stuff that they did the most, their signature loans, if you will. Just like Wells Fargo has home equity lines and hybrid intermediate term arms, and Countrywide has pay option arms, seconds, and subprime. Those are the most profitable. They did the most of those. That's what they end up with the most of them on their portfolio. Same with Lehman. Lehman has mostly alt-A. We already know this. But let's take a look at the kind of alt-A. Full doc and alt doc are in the same category, stated and no ratio. Let's take a look at some of these credit scores and loan to values and loan amounts they did. It's staggering. Full alt doc, $1 million, 100%, with as low as a 620 credit score for purchase, rate term, and cash out. Stated income, stated asset, no ratio. 100%, 650 loan amount, 700 credit score if over 95, 680 below 95. The same goes for $1 million, 680 credit score if under 95%. Let's take a look at their high loan-to-value program, single lien program, 100% to $500,000 for a non-owner occupied loan, 100% to $1 million purchase and rate term as low as a 680 credit score. Let's move down to stated, 100% to $750, no doc, 90% to $650. It's all the same. Let's take a look at their 5-year fixed neg am. This is a negative amortizing loan, similar to a pay option, but it has a fixed rate component and it's fixed for 5 years. These loans came out for about a 9-month period of time. Not a lot of them were securitized and sold because it was a brand new loan program and not a lot of pools went off, but they have a lot of these on their books. Let's take a look at this one. This one's very, very flexible. 95% to $1 million, purchase rate term cash out with down to a 620 credit score. Stated and doc and no ratio. 90 and 95% to $1 million with a 660 and 680 credit score respectively. No doc, $1 million at 90% with a 680 credit score. That's unbelievable because these loans are likely total losses. Most of their loans were done in the bubble areas, especially this kind of product. We're down 15-20% here in California, which means most of these programs done in the last 2 years, the borrowers are sitting in a negative equity position. Negative equity on a $1 million home is not a fun position to be in because you can't cure that negative equity. You can't refinance. It doesn't make any sense to refinance because getting into a 7.5% 30-year fixed, your payment goes up. These borrowers are stranded. They can't do anything. They can't sell. They just got to sit. These loans have to sit on Lehman's books and the borrowers have to sit inside their house until such time they default. We have a long way to go in California. We've lost all of our loan programs. We're back to a 30-year fixed, a 15-year fixed, and a 5-1 ARM. All of which in the jumbo land are at 8% right now. Even Fannie Mae loans, when they start coming out with jumbo loans, are going to have pricing adjustments over this standard Fannie Mae pricing. So we're going to be at 7%. No one's going to want to get out of an exotic loan where they're paying 1% on a pay option or 5% on an interest only into a 30-year fixed at 7%. It makes no sense. Why would you want to get out of a loan and have your payment go up? We're a payment society. It's not going to work. Plus, most of them aren't going to appraise anyway. We don't need to help. Fannie Mae doesn't need to help people that make $150,000 a year that can put 15% or 20% down, buy a jumbo home. They need to help people win the loans they have before they explode on them and people lose their house. This Fannie Mae thing's a farce. Let's keep looking here at mortgage maker first liens. $1 million, 100%. This is just another program, 100% to $1 million. Stated income, 95 to $1 million. Look, 620 scores, 600 scores out of $4 million. I mean, this paper right here, no doc, 95 to 650, 620 credit score, right here in black and white. Now, let's go over what they consider stated income, no ratio, and no doc. This will blow your mind. Stated income, of course, right here. Verification of income is not required. IRS Form 4506 not required. Ratios are calculated based on stated income. Look at no ratio. This is where you put a job down, but you don't put any income in there at all. You leave it blank. Income amount should not be disclosed. Income amount is not verified. This sentence is the killer. Income source must be one which would reasonably support the ability to repay the mortgage debt. Reasonably support the ability to repay the mortgage debt. I've heard it all. IRS Form 4506 not required again. They're bragging about that. Reasonably support the ability to repay the mortgage debt. Finally, look at what they did to first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers. $1 million loans, 95% with 2 months PITI, 6 months PITI if you're over $1 million with a 660 credit score. First-time homebuyers have no business being in a loan like that. They're in trouble. They didn't have the depth of credit. All it took was a credit score. 0 down. Buy yourself your $1 million home, especially on the pay option arms. $3,500 a month. You know, a legitimate household income of 85 or 90 grand, you could buy a $1 million home in the San Francisco Bay Area. Now you have to have 20% down and 150 to 175,000 a year, which isolates everybody. So, knowing the facts here about what Lehman produced the most of with regard to mortgage loans over the past several years, you make the decision about the assets in their book. Are they safe assets? Are they really worth 97 cents on the dollar? I mean, that's basically all the write-downs they took. And do they have more problems coming? In my opinion, they do. But I'm going to leave that decision up to you. Next, we'll talk about pay option arms, the lenders that have those, and how those are will cause the real housing implosion in the state of California. You haven't seen anything yet. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.